So, it's been about a month since the release of Metroid Dread, the long, and I mean long, awaited next installment within the 2D lineage of Metroid titles. After nearing a 2-decade hiatus between 2D Metroid games, the hype proved to support the release of Dread. In the past, Metroid has shown to be a cult classic series that never managed to push sales close to that of Nintendo's other platinum and premium franchises, such as Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, and Kirby. However, with Dread breaking a franchise record in sales, Nintendo may respond with a more dedicated effort for the release of more consistent content for their iconic series. Dread's potential impact going forward intercepts another strong facet in the world of the Metroid franchise, the Metroid Prime series. This critically acclaimed trilogy of games has been expecting a fourth installment for some time now, with Metroid Prime 4 officially being revealed years back during E3 of 2017. But with the game being in somewhat of a developer hell, despite Retro Studios' phenomenal work with Nintendo properties in the past, there is still a cloudy and quiet outlook for when fans will finally be able to see a Prime 4 come to fruition in the near future. Be as that may, will Dread's financial success and gaming buzz influence a new spark of priority for Metroid on the Switch? Let's talk about it. Now, with Dread marking the official closing point for the original arc that was started by the very first Metroid on the NES, I can only speculate what the next chapter of Samus' story will be on the 2D side of the series. But let's be honest, it took 20 years for Metroid 5. Let's not get our hopes up for a new one just too soon. Luckily, that is where the Prime series comes in. There has been high demand to see the original Prime Trilogy be ported to the Nintendo Switch. And with so many titles from the Wii U era being ported over to the Switch so quickly to address the demand for Nintendo's biggest IPs in the earliest years of the Switch, I always felt that Metroid was a bit left out. A Prime Trilogy Director's Cut would have been a no-brainer back in 2017 or 2018, but now it should be even clearer of an option. There will absolutely be a gap between now, where we just got Dread, and when we will finally see Prime 4. It would simply be good business for Nintendo to fill the difference during the void period to both keep the series momentum going and begin a proper rollout for Prime 4, a game that arguably has just enough hype and anticipation as Dread. Another point of emphasis would be reading the room of Nintendo's major release schedule as well. Pokemon will be littered all over this year's holiday season. Kirby will be arriving in the spring. Zelda season is projected for the holidays of next year, and we may be a ways away from something that could resemble a Super Mario Odyssey 2. With so many major titles already being released for the Switch so early in its lifespan, injecting more series that haven't been as prominent in recent years may benefit the Switch's life in the long run. We need a new F-Zero. Recent rumors on the release of Prime Trilogy port haven't been as fruitful as we've hoped, but it has been put out there in admittedly loose rumors as recent as last summer that a remaster of the trilogy could be good to go for the Switch, with insiders saying that Nintendo could simply be waiting for the perfect window for release, which, although unlikely to be true, makes sense due to all of the upcoming titles I just mentioned. Those rumors resurfaced once more just days ago, still echoing the sentiment that a Prime Trilogy is on standby for the Switch. On the other hand, with Prime 4 going back to the drawing board in 2019 after years of prior development, it's becoming a pretty strong consensus that we won't be seeing the game anytime before 2023. As recently as last year, developers were still being scouted and hired to take on important tasks of the title's development, and it seems that Prime 4 will be taking on a much more cinematic, serious, and more detailed rendition of the series. It has also been noted that unlike the previous 3 installments, Prime 4 is being built from scratch twice over, with no prior assets being utilized. So naturally, while the trilogy of games released in a 5-year window, a much longer development period will be taken for this next game. As always, success and demand will forever be held as the biggest factor for the release of future content of any franchise. Like I mentioned earlier, it is no doubt that Dread will cement itself as the most financially successful Metroid installment to date, and that has resonated with the developers themselves, with important figures like Metroid Lifeblood Yoshio Sakamoto articulating how there will always be a future for Samus and Metroid as long as the character and the series has the support of the fans. Hearing expressions like that keep the energy optimistic around a franchise that has held a reputation for rather quiet and distant releases. Similar to Sakamoto's ideology on Metroid's future, as a fan, I'm sure that even beyond the intrigue of Prime 4, there is so much more that could be developed from Samus's arc following the 35-year one that just wrapped with Dread, so long as the developers continue to put love into the product. For example, scrapping Prime 4 to do it right shows a glimpse of just how seriously Sakamoto, how seriously Retro Studios, and how seriously Nintendo takes the Metroid franchise from a media standpoint. For a series that has had such few mainline releases, there have been so many that have been held as some of the greatest games to ever be made. So whether it is sooner or later, and whether the rumors that have floated around hold merit, I trust the development staff involved around the Metroid franchise significantly more compared to some of the others that have been focused in recent years. With that being said, that's going to be all for today's video. I just wanted to touch on a topic that we may see become more prominent in the future. I'm sure we'll hear a large update on Prime 4 sometime soon, like E3 of next year, but nothing will get Nintendo's attention more than sales. Let me know what you think of an extended Prime 4 rollout and if you would want to see the Prime Trilogy ported to Switch. If you made it to the end of the video, I truly appreciate you. Of course, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. We're almost to 1K. And as always, take care, good game, and thanks for watching. Peace.